Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com. And if you haven't been following my channel, I'm telling my life story, ride by ride. And I'm 82 years old. And so far I've got us up to where I'm in my first year of school teaching. And so if you are bored and you want to try to get caught up, click on my smiling face. That'll take you to my YouTube homepage, and then click on playlists and find the one that says life story. And then you can watch video by video to get caught up, or you can just pick up from where we are now. So anyway, this story is about my banjo. Okay, now if you go back in time, back into when I was in school, in college, in the 60s, back in the 60s, during the war in Vietnam, folk songs were popular, and a lot of them had to do with peace and things because of the war, but just it was something that was popular then. And then people would sit down and sing songs together. Yeah, that's how it was back then. Not that way anymore, I know, but they'd sing songs together, and somebody would be playing a ukulele or a guitar or a banjo. Now, the banjo became real popular during the 60s, and they would call these things hootenannies. People would just sit down and start singing their songs like this. So anyway, let's see, I can go up here. So the banjo was popular, and I only had a guitar, and but there near the campus, just a few blocks off campus, there was this old retired violin maker from Austria, and he was making banjos. And so I went down to visit with him and everything. He was selling them for $100. Now, back then $100 was worth a lot more than it is today, but it still was less money than what the commercial manufacturers were charging for banjos. So I visited him a couple times and got to know him. Okay, now let's jump back into the cafeteria where I worked to make extra money, and got my meals and everything. And so there was these two young ladies that I met. They both worked for the college. One worked for the food service, and the other one worked in an office or something. And they knew I played the guitar, and so they invited me over to their place once in a while to play the guitar and sit down and sing some songs and just have a good time. And they made pizza for me, and so did that a couple of times. And then one time I went over there, and one of the young ladies had heard me talking about the banjos. She had purchased a banjo for me, and and so I had a banjo, and so then so eventually I married one of those girls, but not the one that bought me the banjo. So that was a banjo with no strings attached. Poor joke, I know. Anyway, so I had my banjo. Now, another thing in Bellingham, where I went to college, downtown Bellingham, there was this pizza place called Shakey's Pizza Parlor. And it was a popular place, and they had a little stage up front where they had a piano, and a guy would play the piano, and another guy would sit on the piano and strum the banjo. And then they had these pamphlets laid around on the tables, and so they had a bunch of songs listed, and so you'd holler out 18, and then everybody would turn to 18, and everybody would sing these songs, and the banjo guy and the piano guy would play along, and it was a very popular place. So Anyway, so my wife and I, we went there, watched that. Well, then, now let's jump across the state back to Pasco, Washington, where I was teaching school. And so after we got settled in, a couple weeks later, we discovered that there was a Shakey's Pizza Parlor right there where we lived in Pasco. And so we decided, well, we got a babysitter, and we decided we'd go out and listen to banjo music and have a lot of fun. So we went down. Now this one was divided up. It had an alcohol side and a family side. And so we went to the family side because we didn't want to go get drunk or nothing. So we go to the family side. Well, we're the only people. It was a room full of tables, and Friday night or something, and we were the only ones there. And so when they served us our pizza, then I asked him, I says, how come you don't have, when we're in Bellingham, they had a piano and banjo player and all that kind of stuff. And he said, well, I haven't been able to find a banjo player. I said, oh, well, I play the banjo. And he said, you did? And you do? And I said, yeah. And so we talked and decided to go ahead. He found a piano player that his name was Leo Payne. He was an older guy. Man, he could play the piano. He was fun to play along with. Anyway, so he got a piano. He bought a piano and set us up, and he had the pamphlets on the table and all that same kind of stuff. And let's see, I think I can go this way. And so on Friday and Saturday night, me and Leo, we would play from 8 until 12, 4 hours, and he paid us $12 a night. And I thought that was pretty cool, making money playing my banjo. And so played the banjo, and it wasn't long until the place became packed with people. I mean, it took a while, but it wasn't long, and instead of having empty tables, the place was packed with people. And so it made quite a successful thing for him. We did that every Friday and Saturday night until, at the end of the year, I had to go to summer school. So I had to quit, and that was the end of that. So anyway, the banjo was something that I used a lot. I played in dances and parties and just get-togethers and special events. And I even played in my Sunday school class later on. And so it became a real part of my life. And so about 40 years ago, I decided I'd write a song about my banjo because it was getting worn out. And as a matter of fact, right now, as I ride, it is worn out. Just didn't last forever. And it's in its case, and it's leaning against the wall of my son's house because he didn't want me to get rid of it. He wanted me to keep it because it was part of him growing up and everything. So it's leaning against the wall in his house. So anyway, about 40 years ago, I wrote a song about my banjo. Now, I hope you don't mind, but I think I'll play it for you. And it's just 3 minutes long. Now you're going to hear me playing the banjo while I sing. That's the banjo, but I put a mute on it on that song because it makes it sound more like a guitar. But that's the banjo that you're going to hear when I play this song for you. So anyway, I hope you don't mind. And here's the song I wrote about my banjo.
This old music maker of mine has been making music most of my lifetime, making tears, making smiles, traveled with me many miles. This old music maker of mine, I'm keeping this old music maker of mine. There's nothing I would take in trade anytime. It's recorded most of my dreams, it's inspired a few of my schemes. This old music maker of mine, I guess I cherish this old music maker of mine. It don't look like much, but it sounds mighty fine. It's been carried on my back, it's been cuddled on my lap. I've even slept with this old music maker of mine. The day will come when this old music maker of mine will get a rest when we both reach the end of the line. It'll lean up against a wall, and in the silence a tear will fall down in the heart of this old music maker of mine. This old music maker of mine has been making music most of my lifetime, making tears, making smiles, traveled with me many miles. This old music maker of mine.
Well, there you go. That was my banjo. And so I want to thank you for watching my videos as always. And God bless.